Last night when the futures markets opened up, we saw the S&P go screaming to the upside. NASDAQ also screaming to the upside. So what caused the big moves out here? If you said Orange Man, you would be absolutely correct once again. We can see right here, Trump delays 50% tariffs on EU until July 9th. Now, I believe this is the same date that the other reciprocal tariff pause is going to end, which means Canada, Mexico, and all the other countries out there. Now, is there a deal that's going to be made? And we're going to see stocks continue to go higher. So if we look over here, we do see that the market did go running up, but look how light the volume was. Now, we can also see how light that volume was looking on the 30-minute chart. Basically zero volume last night. We just rocketed on the way up. Now, if we were to pull our Fibonacci extension, measure A to B, B to C, and we project right down here for D, notice what we did. We were able to complete that ABC pattern on the way up. Then the market continued to go sideways. So is there more upside to come? Keep in mind, the same thing that caused that April 9th big candle up was very similar to what basically occurred last night. However, on a bit of a smaller scale. We also want to take into consideration on the daily chart, we do see the MACD indicator trying to cross to the downside. Now, if we look at how gold reacted last night, because keep in mind, today is a holiday. However, unfortunately for me, I was not able to trade or stream out here today. We'll talk about that in tomorrow's live stream. Speaking of live streams, if you guys don't want to miss the next time I go live, make sure you subscribe and you have the bell notifications turned on for all. This week, we have more Take Profit Trader accounts to give away. But at this moment, we have the potential for setting up lower highs. We can see right up here, we have a high, then we have a lower high, and then the jury's still out. Is this going to produce a lower high somewhere around this swing point? Now, we can also see that we did have an inside day out here on gold. However, given the fact it was holiday trading, there was lighter volume, we have to wait and see, can we break? If we break this trend line, I'm watching for the market to come right back into this box. That box is basically drawn out from the candle wick right up here, all the way down to the candle body and projected to the right. We start getting towards the middle of that box, expect gold to go ahead and rally and make a new all-time high. Jumping over real quick and taking a look at the SPY real quick. What are we expecting out here going into Monday? Well, if the gap holds overnight, meaning they don't go ahead and fade the low volume rally, then we're likely going to see the SPY gapping up as well. But could this be a case where the SPY gaps up on Tuesday, and then potentially set a lower high or maybe even an equal high, and this turns into a double top type of pattern? If indeed this does turn into a double top, let's go ahead and role play this out real quick. We have top number one right up here. This is going to be the pivot low. And then we come right back up here towards the high. Then we can go ahead and measure and say, okay, where would that price completion be? That would be right down here at 555. That would be just on the other side of this high volume area. That would be enough to not only take out the 38% retracement, but also come over and fill that most recent gap that we've had out here. The same thing can be said kind of out here with the NASDAQ with a very similar pattern. Top number one, and if we do gap up, will this produce a lower high or maybe an equal high, which turns into a double top pattern? Again, the MACD on the daily chart at this moment at least is starting to look weak. However, doesn't mean we can't just go ahead and rip right back up. But it has been a while on the daily charts in which we've seen the momentum starting to fail here just a bit. On Friday, we did have decent volume, so it's going to be interesting to see on Tuesday if that volume persists. Now, I do want to let you guys know of two amazing prop firm deals out there right now. My Funded Futures, you can get 30% off the Starter Plus plan, which makes this account only $89. Also, if you're new to My Funded Futures, 50% off any evaluation account. Then Take Profit Trader, one of the best prop firms out there with the best payout policies, you can get 30% off any evaluation account and no activation fee. To take advantage of these two offers, make sure to use the links in the description box down below. All right, so let's jump back over real quick and look at the futures markets and see, all right, how do we want to play this for tonight? Well, let's look at the 4-hour chart real quick. You can see we've had that push up. Now we can see it make the case at left shoulder, come down here, we have a head, and then do we come down and maybe form a right shoulder, and that gives us a springboard right back up, which in terms would go ahead and give us that double top pattern that we talked about on the daily chart with the SPY. Notice on the 4-hour chart, the MACD indicator is kind of crossed to the upside, but also let's look at the 30-minute chart. what do we have on the profiles? Well, if you look at the profile shape, this is going to be a P as in Paul shaped profile. Now, normally a P-shaped profile is indicative of a short covering rally, and something we want to pay very close attention to would be the value area low. Now, that value area low is going to come in about 58.72 and a quarter. If we can break below that price point, then I want to look for the lower third to come back and be auctioned. Now, think about this whole area, anywhere from about 51.75 all the way down to the low of last night of 58.13 and a half. Think about this as nothing more than a minus development area. So the first time we come into it, maybe we go ahead and we reject back out. And then if we come in a second or third time, then expect the market to go ahead and flush all the way lower. Now, if we come over and look at the NASDAQ futures real quick, you can see we've had that round effect, MACD indicator trying to cross to the downside. But something we are talking about for several days now is do not be surprised if the market spends a little bit of time within this profile area trying to build it out here just a bit. You can see on Sunday, we did get a nice little rocket ship on the way up. But then as we come over and look at the 4-hour chart, MACD indicator is down at the zero line, and it is about to cross up to the above the upside. However, could this also be an inverse head and shoulders? Left shoulder right over here, head, and then we come down a little bit, forming a right shoulder, aka getting into this little breakout point, which we can see a little bit clearer on the 30-minute chart. And that would be a retest right over here. Let me draw a horizontal line right across that area. Right there, you can see we sliced right through that area. We have failed to come back and revisit that level yet. Also, we can grab our Fibonacci retracement tool, measure swing low, right up here to the current swing high. Now, if we do go higher, obviously we'll have to go ahead and grab and adjust the Fibonacci retracement. But as I'm recording this video, this is the high. So this is the area that we need to focus on at this moment. Now, do not be the slightest bit surprised if we come down towards the 50/61.8 level, which would also be enough to come down and repair that structure breakdown point. Now, if we come over and look at the 30-minute volume profile levels, notice on the NASDAQ, we can also see that P as in Paul shaped profile. But one of the areas we can also focus on in the meantime, if we can get above value area high, which could be up here about 21,286 and 3/4, we get above that tonight, maybe we gap back up at the open at 6 p.m. We start coming back down below it. Not only would I want to target the point of control at about 21,273, but also this minus development area right here, 21,230. You can see where we have this little divot in the volume profile, and it's kind of at the top of this little consolidation that we broke out from. Now, we did already come back and repair that same area right over here. And I'm going to draw a horizontal line right across that area just so we can kind of visualize it. And you can see right over here, we came back, tested it, and came back up. But if we start coming back down again, like I said, we get above value area high, we start coming down, I want to target the point of control. I want to target this minus development area again, then value area low, then anything below value area low. I want to turn my attention to this very thin structure of the profile. I'm going to use this whole area as a minus development area. And I'm going to go ahead and draw this out, and that's going to be anywhere, something like this. And this could be a pretty big area. 21,137 and 3/4 all the way down here to 20,948.75. Now, keep in mind, the first time we come into it, I do not expect the market to auction all the way through that area. I expect the market to maybe bounce. Maybe when we come right back to that structure breakout point that we sliced right through last night, and then we'll see, does the market bounce out of that area? And then finally, the second or third time, roll all the way over, coming down, auctioning that whole entire minus development area. Now, if you'd like to learn about 3 hidden rules with Take Profit Trader, make sure to watch this next video right here.